At the turn of the 20th century, the dangers of radiation poisoning were largely unknown. As a result, some companies ironically began marketing radioactive products as a way to treat illness and disease. One famous product was the energy drink called Radithor, which was a mixture of water with a highly radioactive element called radium.
Feeling healthy and strong is something people have always desired to be. No matter the social status, gender, or age, health is something many people all over the world take extremely seriously. The wellness industry is estimated to be worth several trillion US. It's therefore no wonder that in such a big market there are also some more morally corrupt than others. These fraudsters and con artists have been around since the beginning of time. You can take a look on the medical industry throughout history and quickly notice that every era had its own scams. However, even among those, there's a big difference in just how dangerous these could be. Where some were simply ineffective, others were dangerous and could sometimes even be deadly. So in this video, we're going to take a closer look at one of the most shocking ones there is: radioactive medicine in the Victorian era. But for this, we need to learn more about health and medicine during that time. In the Victorian times, many deadly diseases roamed the world. Diseases like pulmonary tuberculosis were still very common, and cholera quickly became an epidemic in many cities due to poor hygiene. During the Industrial Revolution, it was easy for diseases to spread in the crowded areas. The most common housing pattern for the working class was high-density, back-to-back structures, which were poor, damp, badly ventilated, with only a few kitchens and many that shared a single tap and privy. The drainage and sewage was insufficient, and waste was often left in the streets. Despite many technological developments, the death rate rose and only very few were in good health. Doctors at the time, however, had very different treatment plans for these illnesses than we do today. A change of air or bloodletting was often recommended, a practice that aimed to remove impurities from the body by purposely losing large amounts of blood.
There were many instruments devised to let blood. Some physicians even used leeches. After the physician had caused the blood to flow, he would collect it in a bowl with measurement markings. Some of these could be decorative or simple, like this one. The markings on the side would let the physician know when the correct amount of blood had been let. In this time before the discovery of germs, physicians would simply wipe their tools off or rinse them under water and store them again for the next patient.
Many treatment methods were ineffective at best or dangerous at worst. In these uncertain times, many fraudsters were determined to make a quick buck by promoting various bizarre treatment methods. Quack doctors were commonly found in the streets. They had to be charming and believable good talkers to convince the people of their cures. Many of these cures would only worsen things, with arsenic making its way into babies' teething powder or tobacco being used as a cure for asthma. Even though these treatment methods often contained strong drugs, few were as dangerous as Radithor. Radioactive quackery was quite common at the beginning of the 20th century. Its popularity began in 1896 after the discovery of radioactive decay. Contrary to radiotherapy, which is a scientifically proven way to destroy cells, radioactive quackery recommends using radioactive materials to heal the body. Radithor was one of those cons. It consisted of triple distilled water containing at least 1 microcurie. Radithor was produced from 1918 to 1928 by the Bailey Radium Laboratories. The head of these laboratories was a certain William J. A. Bailey, who we're gonna get to soon. Advertised as a cure for the living dead and perpetual sunshine, this scam would turn out to be a lot more dangerous than most. William John Aloysius Bailey was born in 1884. We don't know a lot about his early life, simply that he attended the Boston Latin School and despite a poor upbringing would later be accepted into Harvard University. He unfortunately had to drop out after 3 semesters though, due to an increasing debt. Although he never graduated from any university, he still claimed to have graduated from Harvard and to have studied in Vienna. His career consisted of various startup companies, with many of them going under after just a couple of years. Nevertheless, many of his endeavors ended up being very profitable. In 1918, William first gained attention by advertising Redditor. He claimed that by adding the medicine to drinking water, one could cure a wide range of illnesses like diabetes, anemia, headaches, or asthma. He quickly became rich with the sales of Redditor. Bottles were quite expensive for the time, and many were curious about the supposed cure. Ebenezer McBurney Byers was one of many to become infatuated with this new treatment. He was born in 1880 into a very wealthy family and attended elite schools before becoming president of the A.M. Byers Company, one of the world's largest steel companies. In 1927, he injured his arm and, at the recommendation of his physician, began drinking Redditor. Beginning in December of that year, he started consuming about 3 bottles a day and became a big fan of this healing method. He was so convinced of this drink that he began feeding it to his racehorses and gifting his business partners cases of Redditor. However, this excitement for radioactive medicine came to a sudden stop just 2 years later when his teeth started falling out because of the medicine. William Bailey had already been investigated by the Federal Trade Commission for a couple of years at this point. The FTC was quite suspicious of his business ventures with radioactive healing methods. When they began to prepare a case against Bailey, someone was sent to interview Byers at his mansion. Here I'd like to quote the man that was sent to Byers to interview him. His whole upper jaw, except 2 front teeth and most of his lower jaw, had been removed. All the remaining bone tissue of his body was slowly disintegrating, and holes were actually forming in his skull. A more gruesome experience in a more gorgeous setting would be hard to imagine. When Byers died in 1932, his death received a significant press coverage, alerting many of the dangers that come with radioactive medicine. His death was attributed to radiation poisoning. That's kind of out of fashion to say, but it was simply the language of the time. He was buried shortly after in a lead-lined coffin. As tragic as Byers' death was, it ended up being an important piece for the FTC when investigating Bailey. On December 19, 1931, Bailey was ordered to cease and desist from various representations therefore made by them as to the therapeutic value of Redditor and from representing that the product Redditor is harmless. Bailey refrained from contesting the charges following the personal testimony of Evan Byers before he died. Despite the public controversies, Bailey died as a rich man in 1949 at the age of 64. When his body was exhumed 20 years later, it was found to be ravaged by radiation.